Welcome back, everybody. My name is Bob, and this is the Beginner's Guide. In this episode, we are preparing to going to the Nether. And the goal for the trip in the Nether is to find a Nether Fortress and to get ourselves some blaze rods. As you can see, we are starting off at our mob farm, which is once again proving to be really important. And our goal for here, as you can see, I'm using my iron sword to save on the durability of the diamond sword, so I'm not going to use this. And the goal of being here is to craft ourselves a new bow. Now, the new bow will come from skeletons. So, as you can see down here, the skeletons are dropping bows already. They do also drop enchanted bows. And what we will do is we will combine 2 enchanted bows to upgrade it. We'll actually combine a lot of enchanted bows. We won't just combine 2, but we'll combine 2 and then 2 more and then 2 more and 2 more. And it will mix the enchants, as I showed you in the last episode, and it will give us something amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spend some time here, not throwing my rubbish away properly. And I will be back when I've got a decent bow. One thing to keep in mind when doing this is there will be times when this thing starts to slow down. You won't be getting so many mobs falling down. The reason for that is because up there, you can also get spiders spawn. The issue with spiders up there is that when they spawn, they tend to crawl over to the corners and they just stick there. And there will be loads of them. There will be spiders in all the corners. Now, we can make it spider-proof, but I generally don't like to do that. And the reason for that is because if you put a carpet down, let's say this is one of the spawning floors up there and has a carpet on it, the mobs have difficulty walking over it. So the mobs tend to walk into it and then can't get round it. So instead of walking down into the gully to get carried away down to here, they just get stuck. So I would prefer... I'm actually going to... Oh, no. I brought some stuff up here to make some new swords, but I didn't bring a crafting table. So I managed to punch those to death so I can sleep. The reason I wanted to sleep is because I want it to be daytime. And then what I'm going to do to reset this, to despawn all these spiders in the corner, is I'm going to use the same mechanic as to why we built it up here in the first place. By jumping down here, this has now taken me over 128 blocks away from that up there, which forces the spiders in the corners to despawn, which resets the entire spawn rate for everything else. So every now and then, you'll notice the spawn rate drops a bit. Just jump down, swim back up. I'm actually going to make another sword before I do this. And that should improve your spawn rates again. So, I've been at this for a while, and I haven't had a single bow yet. So now seems like a good time to tell you about a different mechanic in the game. So what else we have in this game is the longer you play, the more difficult it gets. And the way the game does this is as the time goes by, which if you can see on F3 is under local difficulty here on the left-hand side. We're on day 43 here. And what the game does to make this more difficult is the mobs will start to gear up to better gear and to enchanted gear. So they'll start off wearing things like leather armor, gold armor, things like that. And eventually they will level up to wearing iron armor and eventually diamond armor. And if you play long enough, you can you'll come across fully enchanted diamond gear. I even, at one point on the SMP, and I think there's a screenshot of this in my Discord, is I had a fully enchanted, fully equipped... I can't remember if it was a zombie or a skeleton, but he was wearing full armor, full diamond armor, and it was fully enchanted. So, in an effort to make these guys hurry up and start carrying enchanted gear, I'm going to let this run overnight. I'm basically just going to sit here, and this should be safe because I've got something overhead, and I've got basically nothing can spawn up here. The only things that can spawn are in here, and they can't get to me. Now, the reason I said I have something overhead is because there is a mob called a phantom, and a phantom will spawn if you haven't slept for 3 days and you have direct sky over your head. So by me having this stuff up here means phantoms can't spawn over me. This means I am completely safe to sit here, go to bed, go to work, come back, and be completely fine. So I'm going to do that, and hopefully at the end of work tomorrow, which is roughly 20 hours from now, hopefully we'll start seeing some enchanted bows. Right, so here we are, back the next day, and as you can see, we are on day 114, so that has been quite a while. I have been sitting here swinging my sword as well, just so you can see we got all the experience at the bottom there, 87 levels. So I've been here for a little while. And the loot we have is pretty much what we're after here, all these bows. These bows have all dropped from skeletons. And what we can do is we can take these bows and we can do the same thing we did with the items at the end of the last episode. By combining these, we not only combine the enchants on them, so power 1 there and unbreaking 1 on both of these, means these two combine into power 2 and unbreaking 2, but it also means it combines the durability as well. Now, it's not a direct combination. It's not like a maths thing. It's not 29 and 2 gives you 31. It's just a slight repair. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all these and we're going to come up with a way to be the most efficient about how we combine them. The other thing to notice is that there is loads of gunpowder in here. So gunpowder is probably the most valuable resource from this mob farm. So as the gunpowder was coming in, I was getting rid of all the bones, all the string, all the flesh, some of the arrows, pretty much everything we could to make room for the gunpowder while still keeping some of this stuff. Flesh, you don't really need to keep. It's just kind of a completionist OCD kind of habit of mine. It could become more valuable later on. Nothing to worry about now. But the gunpowder here, the gunpowder will combine with the sugarcane down there, or sugarcane crafted into paper, to make rockets. And rockets are used for propulsion to get around the game. So, the more gunpowder you have, the more rockets you have, the more freedom you have, basically. So what I'm going to do now, and I love the crunch from doing this, just especially when there's loads of them, especially when there's like, this is just full. The crunch is just so good. Oh, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down. I'm going to come up with a plan on the best way to combine these bows to get the highest level enchants on a single one. So ideally, power as high as possible and unbreaking 3. So I'm going to come up with a plan and I will be back shortly. So the plan I've come up with is by combining these two, we have power 2 and unbreaking 1 combining with unbreaking 1 to give unbreaking 2. That gives us one bow with power 2 and unbreaking 2. This one and this one, we combine power 1 and unbreaking 1 with the same again. So that gives this power 2 and unbreaking 2 as well. We then combine this bow with this bow to give us power 3 and unbreaking 3. We then have power 2 here, power 2 here, which gives us power 3, which combined with the top bow gives us power 4. So, and this is obviously where, I don't know why I'm standing at the enchanter. It's not done at the enchanter, it is done on the anvil. And this is where all these levels are going to come in handy as well. So to start with, and we always have the bow with the most enchants on the left-hand side. As mentioned in the last episode, we're moving 1 enchant across to 2 enchants. If we swap these around, so this is 6, it's more expensive because we're moving 2 onto 1. So we swap them around. As you can see, there's a very slight repair on the bow there as well. And again, we combine this. We have power 2, unbreaking 2. Also, to keep it as cheap as possible, it's always a really good idea to have even number of enchants on both sides. There's 2 enchants on this side and 2 enchants on this side. That gives us power 3 and unbreaking 3. Power 2. Power 2. Power 3. Power 4. We can't really get anything more from these, so this is pretty much all we're going to have to start with. It's not great, but it's a bow, it's fully enchanted, and it gives us a little bit of safety when we head to the Nether. So, what do we do next? we are heading to the Nether. Right, so I've got what I'm going to take with me. We're going to start with a couple of stacks of cobblestone, a couple of torches, stacks of torches, and some gold. So these are just gotten from mining. Obviously, the sticks come from the trees. The coal comes from mining. The cobblestone comes from mining, and the gold comes from mining. So everything's easily available. What I'm also going to take is I'm going to take the 10 obsidian because that's what we used to make the portal. We need a flint and steel, which is 1 flint and 1 iron ingot. This is to light the portal. And this is where things get a little bit dangerous. So what am I going to do is I'm just going to build it over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build mine just in the side here. It doesn't matter where you put it. And the first thing we're going to do is what it takes is 2 floor panels, 3 wall panels, 2 ceiling panels, and then 3 down here. This is a little bit, it depends on who you are. Some people don't like going cheap on the corners, and they would use 12 obsidian. But considering how long it takes to mine and how little we actually care, we're just going to go with the 10. So I'm just going to cut these out. So 2 on the floor, 3 on the wall, 3 on the wall, 2 on the roof. And this gives us, actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop these here and let's see if we can terraform this a bit. Does that look a bit weird? I think that looks a bit weird. Yeah, that's all right, whatever. And we take our flint and steel and we right click on the bottom of the portal. Now the reason we do it on the bottom of the portal is because there's a glitch that is in the game, or was in the game. I don't know if it has been fixed. It might have been fixed. But basically, if you light it on either of the other sides, you can take suffocation damage as you go through. And it's quite confusing because you zone through, you take a hit, and you don't know what it's for, or why it's taking damage. So basically, we should right-click on the bottom, and it lights the portal. So what we're doing here is we have 2 stacks of cobblestone. The first thing I'm going to do when I get through is I'm going to secure the landing zone, as it were. I'm going to block off one side. I'm going to put down as much flooring as needed if we spawn in over the lava. And then I'm going to make a little, basically a little room. So I will show you that shortly. So I've got my cobblestone. I'm going through and let's see what we have on the other side. Okay, right. So the first thing we notice is that on one side we have a massive drop. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to block off this side with our cobblestone. What this does is this gives us protection from over there. So if we're trying to load through, we can't be shot from this side. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to mine this out quickly. Now, this area isn't actually that bad because it's quite tucked away. We got some overhead cover. We've got a big wall there. We've got a big wall here to keep us safe. But let's say we were to zone in somewhere down there or somewhere over there. It's just a lot of flat ground, a lot of open ground. Lots of things can see us from all different directions. So what I would do is I would take my cobblestone and first I would build a little room like so. And on this side, I would just cut it in. It basically gives us a little hiding spot like this. And again, I would bring out another layer and I would do the same thing here. Bring this out as well. And basically what this does is this gives us a way to break line of sight. So if we're being chased, if we're being shot at, if something is trying to kill us, we can get in here and we can get a bit of cover. We can hide around the corner here to break line of sight, and so stuff can't keep attacking us. This means that if we're being hunted, we have some cover to actually stand in the portal to go back through. If you're being shot by skeletons, if you're being shot by ghasts, then you'll get knocked out of the portal and you'll have a pretty hard time getting back. So the mobs we have in the Nether, the first ones you can see are these zombie pigmen here. These are passive to start with. These will not attack you on sight. However, if you harm one, you anger all of them. If you upset one, you upset them all. So be very, very careful about what you're doing and don't hit those. These guys that are wearing kind of leather, they don't have their bones showing, and they either carry a sword or they carry a crossbow. They will attack you on sight. But there's a very easy way to prevent that from happening. Now these guys love their gold. So we have some gold here. We can distract them with the gold. Or even better, we can craft some golden armor. And this means they will not attack us if we're wearing golden armor. Now it's up to you which armor you want to use. I generally go for the legs, and the reason I go for the legs most often is because boots tends to have feather falling, and you always want to keep that level of safety because there are lots of kind of big drops in the nether. So you want to keep feather falling on your boots. You don't really wear a chest plate most of the time, and we'll get to that later. The helm, Aqua Affinity and Respiration aren't really that important, or not at all important. But personally, I don't tend to wear a helm that often either. So for me, I'm going to make some gold legs. Like so. And then I'm just going to put these on. And now because I'm wearing gold, those pigmen will not attack me. Now, the most dangerous guys in here, well, there's kind of two creatures that will still attack you on sight. I don't know if you can see that guy. There's a big floating marshmallow that will shoot you. His projectiles cause blast damage, and they will destroy a lot of netherrack. Yeah, that guy there. And it will destroy this stuff. So one of the other reasons... There we go. Let's see if we can demonstrate. So one of the reasons that we have this box, like I say, is because it breaks line of sight, so they can't shoot us. But cobblestone has a higher blast resistance than netherrack does. So if this guy shoots cobblestone, he will not destroy it. The other thing with cobblestone is there's such a big difference in the colour. So you can see that the cobblestone stands out against the netherrack. The grey is very noticeable against the red. So let's see if we can get this guy. So as you can see, this guy has just destroyed all of this netherrack with a single projectile, but he can't destroy the cobblestone. Now, the other good use for this cobblestone, and actually this is quite a good demonstration of this actually. I mean, if your base or your little hut was out in the open, it'll be noticeable. These guys, by the way, these pigs, they will always attack you on sight as well, and they actually do hurt quite a lot. So be careful about those. These guys love to walk in the way. So if you're ever swinging your pickaxe around, or your sword, be very, very careful. Generally, when you're in here, you might even not want to use a sword because it comes with built-in sweeping edge. You may want to use your axe, which is very, very single target. You can't accidentally hit one of these. But as I was saying, yeah, so this cobblestone stands out against the red. And this particular hut is kind of hidden away. Something you can do is you can use little kind of waypoints. And this is what I like to do. Now, you may come up with your own way of doing things, but this is kind of how I do things. So by having 2 bricks of cobblestone there, it's kind of noticeable against the red. Like you can see the cobblestone from quite a distance off. And what I do is I put a torch on the top block here to tell me which way to go. So by having a torch there, it tells me I need to go that way to get back home. If I need to go that way and up, then I'll put a torch on top as well. If I need to go that way and down, I will just put it on the bottom block like that. And that tells me to go that way and down. So this, no matter where you're going in the nether, if you have a trail of these, you can find your way home again. Now, where are we going? What are we doing? Why are we here? So what we're going to do is we're going to actually just come back over here. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to take our location. So we have on the left hand side here, this XYZ. We have X is 8, Y we just ignore because it's a height thing. We're not going up or down, doesn't really matter. And Z is 1. So I'm just going to write those down. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to type seed. And we are going to copy this to the clipboard, and we're going to save this on a notepad or something as well. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to head over to the internet. Now, a lot of people call this next bit a bit cheaty, because the whole point of Minecraft is the adventure side of things, the exploration side of things. And using a third-party website to tell you where to go is a little bit cheaty. But I find this game, for new players, is hard enough. It's overwhelming. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. There's no big shiny markers saying go over here. There's no big shiny paths telling you to go which way. So really, you're just dumped in the middle of nothing and told to get on with it. So as a new player, absolutely fine. Go ahead and use it. If it's your second playthrough and you know what you're doing, you know what to expect, you know where you're going and what the plan is, then you can just not use it. You can stick to the main idea of just adventuring. If you're ever playing on a multiplayer server, you won't get told the scene number anyway, so you won't be able to look it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the internet now, and we are going to go to chunkbase.com. Now on Chunkbase, we click on apps, and this gives us the option of searching for all these kinds of things within the game. Now what we're looking for is we're looking for Nether Fortress. Nether Fortresses come with Nether Blaze, and Nether Blaze drop blaze rods. We type our seed in the box here, or we copy and paste it from our notepad. The version here, if you're playing on Xbox, PlayStation, or what's called Minecraft for Windows, then you'll be playing Bedrock. If you're playing on Java, it means you probably downloaded it direct from the Mojang website. The easiest way to tell the difference is the inventory in game. If it looks like mine, then you're in Java. Or if you have a shield, if you have an offhand, then you're in Java. The version of the game is just going to be the latest. No doubt that's what you're playing on. So the reason this is considered so cheaty is because it takes a seed here. The seed is a unique identifier for our map. Every generation of the Minecraft world is very, very different. Everybody's is pretty much going to be unique to each other unless you type in the same seed on purpose. It means that all the structures, all the layouts, all the biomes, everything is unique. So this, by putting a seed in here, this tells the website here which map we're playing on. It knows where the things are generating. So we come down here and we have the X coordinate, which was 8. And we have the Z coordinate, which was 1. The Y coordinate is a height coordinate, so it doesn't matter. We click go. So here, it tells us where we are. And these dots are where the nearest fortresses are. So the nearest one to us is 221193. I'm going to write that down. You can see why this is considered kind of cheaty, because it takes out the entire thing of exploring from the game. And that's kind of the whole point of Minecraft, is that it tells you exactly where to go, and it kind of removes that whole thing. But the game is hard enough when you're starting out as it is. As I mentioned, you don't get big markers telling you where to go. You don't get shiny paths telling you to go this way. So as a first playthrough, absolutely fine, no issue at all. So we have our coordinates. We need to go southeast. So let's go back to the game. There we are back. And let's go through. So, armed with our coordinates, 221193. These guys. Come on, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me. You're not going to shoot me? Fine. This is why we needed a bow, by the way, because there's a lot of ranged combat, and those guys are going to be a right pain in the bum. If they're shooting at you, you're down there in the open, you've got no cover, and you've got no way to defend yourself. So, what we're looking for is 221193. So we are looking at these numbers here. As I mentioned, the middle one is just a height. So if I go down, you can see it's 71, 72. So we are looking for 221193. 221 is this way. You can see how the first number is increasing. 193 is this way. You can see how the third number is increasing. So we want to head in that direction. As we go, what we want to do is we have our gold leggings on. We make sure we have those on. We are looking for one of those guys. So carefully climbing down. A netherrack, by the way, is super easy to break. So if you ever need to make a path, it is really not a problem at all. I'm just hopping down here. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to put this on the edge so it's noticeable from over that direction. I'm going to put one of these down. I'm going to put a torch there to say go that way. And I'm going to put a torch on top to say go up. Now what I may do as well is put a torch here to mark the start of the path. So I know from that torch I can just go up that way. If you have a lot of cobble, you can make stairs out of these for two reasons. One is that stairs is obviously a lot more visible. Again, it's the grey against the red. But also, running doesn't use the same sort of stamina that jumping does. Now we have a bit of an issue here with climbing down, so we just need to be careful. Like so. So again, very, very careful. As you can see, that up there is very, very obvious. We can't miss that. So if we see that, we know we're going the right way. I'm going to do the same thing again with a torch in the bottom stair. And this. Because if I'm not, if I'm just looking forward, that's off the top of my screen. I can't see that. By looking at this, I can see that I have to go that way and up. Oh, look, there it is. And there's the stair to go up. So, next thing we need to do is we need to find one of those guys. Where? Oh, really? It's over that way? Oh, that's painful. We need to find one of these guys that is going to trade us for our gold. So we're going to come over to this guy here. We're going to keep an eye on this guy. We're going to throw this down. And we're going to hope he gives us a lava potion. What you can do, there's two ways you can... Oh, there's that one. Perfect. That's what we're after. So there's two ways you can do this. If you're holding the gold in your hand, you can either right-click on them to give it to them, or you can press Q to throw it on the floor. And you can actually lead them by pressing Q and having a little... ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Having a little trail to kind of drag them along. One thing you do need to be careful of is if you see gold in the floor like this, or in the walls, don't mine it when these guys are around. It upsets them. We have two kind of potions here. The potion of fire resistance is much better than splash potion. Because if you're falling in the lava, you can drink this straight out of the bottle. This one you have to kind of throw up and you have to smash it against something. These guys obviously don't get along either, so we actually want this guy to survive. And then we can keep trading. We want a couple of fire potions. Now these potions are not just for falling in lava, but they're also defense against blazes later on when we get there. You can find a few of these guys. Sometimes they may be a little bit quicker. Let's get this guy over here as well. Come on, dude. Oh, and you. Oh. So we can kind of piece of candy them. Put them all together. Oh, he's got another... only given us a splash potion. We've got some ender pearls as well. Ender pearls are these things here. We do need a collection of these, but there is an easy way to get them than trading. You can trade for them if you want to. But we will get to that later on. I'm actually just going to throw the rest of these down. Oh dear, another one of those. So we didn't get a whole lot of good stuff. We got 2 splash potions, which is kind of nice, I suppose. We can use these in the Fortress because we can throw these against the floor and we can smash the bottle that way. We can save this one for if we fall in the lava. So what we might want to do is put this onto the hotbar. I'm just going to top up my cobblestone there. Put this onto the hotbar so that if we do fall in, it's quickly accessible and easy to drink. We also need quite a few of these ender pearls, so getting some of those has been quite good as well. I'll cover a bit more on that later on. There is a certain area here we're actually looking for to get those. There's a whole lot of lava there. Where are we? We're at 106. We need to go a long way that way. This is terrible. So actually that looks like the fortress there. You can kind of recognize the fortress because it's more kind of a blackish purple kind of stone brick kind of thing. You can't really tell it on the recording here, but you'll be able to see when we got close shortly. And it's kind of very different to the red brick you're seeing here. So rather than going across the lava, I'm going to try and go around it. Oh, run! That sound there is a sound you should listen out for, because that is a sound of you being shot. Right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to build another one of these waypoints, and I'm going to put it just there to say that I need to go this way, because over this way is our next one. And again, even though we're going to a different biome, a different area, this is called a crimson forest, it's still very red. So it's still easily recognizable against the trees here. Now, in these red biomes, we can have those pigs spawn, so we need to be careful about that. And I'm just going to keep putting down these markers to get me back home, because this is very condensed around here. It's very easy to block a line of sight. So I'm going to keep using these to tell me to go that way. All right, so that's our goal. And it's a lot lower than we are. So these guys here, these, ouch. These are the blazes that we need to come here to kill. Just need to find another way to it. So this wall here is pretty solid, and it seems to go straight down to the fortress. So what we can do when we get there is we can use one of these splash potions. Where is my... oh, that's there. We can use one of these splash potions to make us fire resistant, which basically means those blazes do 0 damage to us. So where was it? How far away? We need to come into about here. I'm just going to start digging a staircase down. Need to be careful about falling through. We also need to be careful about too far or going off track. Just remember, it was a long way below us. I'm just going to keep... we have a... you know, we have a quite a safe tunnel here. Nothing can shoot, nothing can see us in here. Obviously, if you're doing it like this, you can see what's ahead of you, and you hopefully won't fall through. Just be very careful not to mine away the block you're stood on. Because if you're stood on that block, and it's a single block, you're going to fall through, and you're going to have a bad time. Like that, for example. If that was a block we were stood on, we would have fallen, and yeah, that's death down there. So, again, we can use all the netherrack we've just farmed, we just mined, and we're gonna work our way down. The question is how. Unfortunately, you can't place a block below the one you're stood on, which makes staircasing very, very difficult sometimes. We're actually going to come across to this one here. I'm going to try and go down from here. At this point, I might decide it's safe enough to jump. At this point here, I've decided safe enough to jump, and it's close enough that I can kind of fill in the rest. So jump down, make sure it's quickly safe. I'm going to make a little another little tunnel here as well, because this isn't ideal at all by any stretch of the imagination. And by doing it like this, it means I've now got a safe way back up. If something is shooting me, it can't see me, it can't knock me off. And we are in the fortress. Hello everybody, it's Editing Bob here. This episode is insanely long, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to split into 2 parts. I'm going to have this part here, which is going to be how to find the fortress. And the next part is what to do once you get there. So that is the end of this episode, and I'll see you very shortly for the continuation. Thanks very much. Take care now. Bye-bye.